Donkey Kong is one of Nintendo's oldest characters. From arcade to the most recent console, DK has been with us through thick and thin, and is a welcome guest to many of Nintendo's party games. This guy is an absolute... Wait, what's the deal with his teeth? Are you seeing this? Teeth, no teeth. Teeth, no teeth. His mouth is wide open here, and you can't see any of his teeth. Does he have, like, retractable teeth? What the friggity diggity is going on here? Hey everybody, and welcome to the series that goes through some classic games with a fine-tooth comb to decide if they're worth dusting off the old console, blowing onto the cartridge, even though you shouldn't do that, and playing it all over again. Nostalgic games from our childhood can hold a special place in our hearts, and playing them again and again can be just as fun as it used to be. But looking objectively, as someone who's never played the game before, can these beloved games be picked up today and enjoyed just as much as whatever else is out there? Does it hold up? Donkey Kong Country is acclaimed as a Super Nintendo must-play. A game that pushed the console's graphics capabilities, contained brilliant music for every stage, and had the ability to play alongside a friend. On paper, DKC sounds like an incredible game, and based on the many Country sequels, it must have been a great success when it was released. But is it just as good now? But first, let's sink our retractable teeth into DK's history. I'm pretty sure everyone knows who Donkey Kong is, either as the guy that throws barrels at Jumpman, yeah, a whole other video there, or you know him from Smash.
Donkey Kong wins!
But to give a quick history lesson on Donkey Kong, the arcade game was released in 1981 and had tremendous success, being one of the most sold arcade machines, right up there with Pac-Man. Yeah, he old. This arcade game was such a hit that when home consoles started to make their way to the market, Donkey Kong was ported to many of these systems like Atari, Commodore 64, Famicom Disk System, and the NES. And it continues to be ported to systems like the Game Boy Advance, Wii, and 3DS. Talk about a massive hit. A sequel was made the following year, Donkey Kong Jr., another hit. From 1981 to 1984, Donkey Kong was the talk of the town, and then he just disappeared. For 10 years, there was no sight of DK, except for making an appearance in Super Mario Kart in 1992. What happened? Would we ever see him again? Jump to 1994. Nintendo were in a console war with Sega and needed something new and revolutionary to compete. Rare, British game developers, showed Nintendo they were able to render 3D models on the Super Nintendo, and this was how Nintendo would stand above Sega. So what game was Rare going to make? Well, Nintendo is very protective over its intellectual properties, or IP, and would rarely give a big name to another studio, so they chose a character and franchise that had been dormant, and with that came a brand new game, Donkey Kong Country. This game took inspiration from Super Mario, in the sense that you move from one side of the screen to the other in short levels that, if played well, could seamlessly flow from start to finish. So is there a plot to this game? Yes. Is it in the manual? You better believe it. On a dark, stormy night, as Diddy Kong watched over the banana horde, a strange sound came from the undergrowth and... You know what? This story is 4 pages long, and all you really need to know is King K. Rool has snatched the bananas, so you gotta go get your bananas back. So if you're one of those gamers that needs a compelling plot to enjoy a game, then here it is. You like bananas? Go get bananas, because essentially that is what this game is. Follow the trail of bananas and defeat big bosses that give you a big, giant Nintendo branded banana that's probably gonna cost you an arm and a leg, because Nintendo loves making as much money as they possibly can. And if you don't like bananas, then I guess this game isn't for you, sorry. Banana lover or not, DKC introduced us to 3 different styles of gameplay for all different types of players to enjoy. With Diddy Kong tagging along for the ride, you could choose solo mode, where you can switch between Diddy and Donkey Kong, 2-player contest, taking turns doing levels to see which one can finish the fastest, and finally, 2-player team. Similar to contest mode, one of you controls one of the Kongs, and you can tag each other in. So it's co-op, but not really. You can't play simultaneously. This was pretty cool at the time. Not a lot of co-op games out there, certainly not like this. It allowed players to play with a younger sibling who was maybe not as good at platforming, and the competition made it fun too. Who was going to be faster? An intuitive way of extending gameplay. These modes are all the same levels. Like Mario, the further you progress, the different areas you find. The colours and images were fascinating to look at, and the music was so good, creating a really fun experience. And as for difficulty in this game, well, it's complicated. Some levels feature few obstacles that an average gamer could clear in minutes, and some had tricky time-related obstacles, surprise enemies, stress-inducing platforming, and an array of levels featuring minecarts, conveyor belts, and obviously underwater, which is the best because I love having no control over how DK goes up every time he moves forward. What is complicated about the game's difficulty is where these slightly more difficult levels or segments are placed. Some of the hardest levels are actually early on in the game, which can be a welcome challenge to those hardcore gamers, but can turn away those less skilled. Some of this is down to frustrating level design. While the game encourages you to speed through levels and run on ahead, you are greatly punished if you do. Lots of pitfalls, enemies, and just stuff that comes out of nowhere if you're too hasty.
No! Oh my word!
There's a lot of trial and error. You don't always know what's ahead and what to expect. That being said, the gameplay is super fun. Getting to launch through barrels and swinging across the vines felt so cool, and the flow of the level was great if you don't die. But with the help of Diddy, you get a second chance. On top of this, both Diddy and Donkey Kong have their own skills that may be preferable for certain levels. Diddy is faster, but weaker. Donkey is powerful and can damage enemies a lot easier. Adding this dynamic helped give the players options on how to best clear the level. Each level felt fresh. Even as you go later into the game, the ideas still keep coming, and the game doesn't get tired, finding new challenges, new enemies, and fun rindable animals like Winky, Squawks, Espresso, like a coffee. Like Coffee, the website that allows you to support this channel further than subscribing, which you should still do by the way. Coffee essentially works like a tip jar. If you like what you see, then drop in a little tip to support the channel and help me allow to buy countless coffees, never sleep, and keep making videos until my heart explodes. But at least you'll get some more videos out of me, so I guess it's a win-win. I'm working on some big projects, and any support you can give to that is greatly appreciated. Thank you for listening to this shameless plug. Subscribe and hit the bell, and let's get back to Donkey Kong Country. Oh yeah, and here's the QR code for coffee. One big relief is that you can save your progress in this game, but only at certain save locations. There is one of these in every area, but if you haven't got far enough in that area, you can't save. The only way is by going back to the last area to save. Can you simply walk back there? Nope. The only way you can go back to a previous area is with Funky Kong's barrel plane thing. And how do you do that, I hear you ask? You have to get to a certain point in the area to use it. So if you're dealing with a few tricky levels before you can get to a save point or Funky Kong, you're in for one hell of a ride. Loading the save point over and over again and doing the same batch of levels, praying you remember all the pitfalls that cost you lives. It's enough to make you snap your little plastic controller and vow to never play the game again. Oh, maybe that's how they came up with the Joy-Cons. A new section that I'm going to include in these reviews is replayability. For me, the mark of a good game is how likely you are to go back and play it again. Is there more to do beyond the story? Is there a post-game with further content and world building? Are there extra challenging stages or modes unlocked after the main game? Or is there a way to 100% complete the game? If there's a drive to keep playing, you've made a good game, giving the gamers more bang for their buck, so everyone's happy. DKC marked your progress on save files, so the whole way through you're aware if you got 100%, and there's no feeling like completing the main game and seeing that it doesn't give you 100%. To get 100%, you have to find all the secret rooms in the levels. In there, you can collect bananas, didn't see that one coming, lives, tokens, and things like that. But you don't need to complete these challenges for it to count to the 100%. You just need to get to the room and clear the main stage. There can be more than one secret level per stage, so if you want that 101% mark, not totally sure why it's 101, you're going to want to go back to all the levels and painstakingly search for these secrets. I think this was a welcome challenge, and if you're brave enough to finish the game, you're probably brave enough to take on this task. Or be like me, and even the idea of going through it all again is just too much to handle. But at least the music's good. As far as replayability goes, DKC had it covered, with secrets to find and the different modes to play with friends too. So go ahead and play this game as much as you want until you go completely bananas. Yep, I hated myself the moment I said it. When I think about Donkey Kong Country, I'm conflicted. The game is beautiful, the animation, colours and music are great. When you're on a roll, the flow of the levels is so nice and it's super fun. Being able to ride animal buddies made the game really fun. And levels like the minecart and conveyor track levels were clever, and each level had a unique quality and they tried something new each time. On the other hand, a lot of these fun levels were also ridiculously hard at times. One error and you would die, and often in the exact same place. Don't get me wrong, I like a challenge just as much as the next guy, but the placement of these hard levels are so sporadic. One moment you've cleared a level in what feels like 5 seconds, the next you're spending hours trying to clear one. Saving was a real chore and again could really screw you over if you didn't get a save point. But I also love the different ways of playing. Having two characters with a particular set of skills, that's without mentioning that boss levels are a little basic. You just jump on the baddies. And these battles are just so insignificant that I forgot about them when writing this, so it clearly didn't draw up too much of a negative light on the game overall, but they could have been better. So when I ask myself, Donkey Kong Country, does it hold up? I would say yes. Maybe. Some parts of the game will make you question why you're doing this to yourself, and some levels are just pure fun. Donkey Kong Country tried some new stuff and it works really well, and even when it was hard, I was impressed by the game and accepted that if there were no hard bits, this game would be really quick and lack any personality. I had to step up my game to play this, and to play it today is still a challenge and in the best way possible. If you're watching this and haven't played the original Donkey Kong Country, I'd say go for it. Even try 100% it if you can handle it. Ha! Nice try, you lying primate. I'm definitely not doing that. Just have a damn banana and sink your horrifying retractable teeth into them. Yummy. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe because it makes me feel good. If you didn't understand the joke at the start of the video, you'll probably understand by watching my DKC playthrough. I've done a few of these review videos recently, so if you like this, head on over there. I'm not sure which box it's in. Comment what game you'd like me to cover next. If you want to give more support to the channel, head over to my Ko-fi page. And a like goes a long way. I mean, I've been told. I'm not really sure if it does. But thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.